Chelsea are heading into one of the most chaotic summers we have seen in years, because while the club keep insisting everything is under control financially, the reality behind the scene is starting to tell a different story. From the growing pressure to cashing on Enzo Fernández to Man City cycling for both Enzo and Kupama, Barcelona trying their best to test Chelsea's stance on João Pedro, and a major uncertainty surrounding Marc Cucurella under Xabi Alonso. We have a lot to break down, but before we dive into it, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. But if you have been following me for a while, help your boy get to that 10k subscriber mark. Let's dive into it. Let's face it, every single time the window opens, we are designated main character of the financial fair play drama. If you believe the headline, we are always one audit away from being forced to sell the Stamford Bridge stadium seats just to keep the lights on. Look at what Leon Cornfield put out recently. He notes, many football insiders believe Chelsea have to cash in on a start to keep their head above the water financially. Chelsea chiefs have denied that strongly and repeatedly. But what they have not and probably cannot rule out is selling out one of their leading men in order to finance the kind of signing new boss Xabi Alonso requires. Now the board can deny this until they are blue in the faces. They can issue the strong and repeated statement they want. But let's look at the reality. We have spent money like we are playing career mode with a financial takeover glitch enabled. When you drop that kind of cash, the piper has to be played eventually. I genuinely think this report is hitting the nail on the head. We can't keep spending at the rate without some sort of structural damage behind the scenes. I genuinely believe we are running tight on fund right now, and the only logical way to escape that is to cash in on one of our marquee names. Honestly, it sucks, but it's the business side of the game we have built. Now we get to the meat of the situation. Remember how we talked about cashing in one of our star players to balance the books? Well, look no further because the script is writing itself right now. It looks like Enzo Fernández the sacrificial lamb, and the smoke around this is getting too thick to ignore. Let's start with what Kieran Gill dropped. Enzo Fernández considers himself an elite player, worthy of competing at the highest level. Chelsea will not be there next term. He was seen waving to the fans. Whether that was a good buy remains to be seen. Chelsea sources insist they don't have an update from their side yet, and that everything is just rumor as it stands. That wave to the fans feels heavy, doesn't it? And the rumor doesn't stop there. When Jacob adds more fuel to the fire stating Enzo Fernández would welcome a bid from Real Madrid, while some informal and formative talk has taken place with Manchester City. He wants to play in Champions League. Chelsea won't consider a sell this summer for a book loss. And if you think this is just standard paper talk, Florian Plettenberg backed it up by confirming the interest is very real. Enzo Fernández moving to City remains a concrete topic. Maresca is desperate to sign him. He sees him as a type of player City currently does not have in the squad. Real Madrid, PSG also have him in their shortlist. In my opinion, I think Enzo is gone. It ties perfectly to the first report about us needing to sell a key man. And there we have it. Enzo is the player they are cashing on. And what gives it away for me is the silence. Look at the way Chelsea has gone completely quiet about the whole entire Enzo situation. They aren't debunking whether he's for sale or not. They aren't coming out labeling him untouchable, the way they usually do when our top talents get linked to other clubs. Because of that radio silence, I think the board genuinely wants to cash in on him. Do I think selling him is a good thing? Honestly, it entirely depends on how they replace him. If they replace him nicely, we will absolutely miss his profile on the pitch. But if they don't, and we just pocket the money and waste it on proven projects, then this transfer will be a complete recipe for disaster. And look, I want Enzo to stay. I want him at the club, and we all know the talent is there. But if he wants to leave, you can't force a man to stay against his will. I want players who want to actually fight for the badge and wants to play for Chelsea. I get it, the owners haven't matched the ambitions of anyone lately, including the fans and the players themselves. We all are frustrated about the direction of the club, but at the same time, I'm still a Chelsea fan first. So if Enzo wants to leave, he can fuck off. And if Enzo does walk out of the door, the board isn't going to sit on their hands. They already have a replacement in mind, but it's exactly the kind of profile that makes you wonder what the long-term plan actually is. Ryan Bailey dropped the exclusive on our sudden interest, reporting Chelsea's scouts and recruitment staff have watched Alex Scott closely in recent weeks. An internal discussion around the Bournemouth midfield has intensified ahead of the summer window. Scott is viewed internally as a player who ticks a lot of boxes in terms of age, Premier League experience, technical quality, long-term potential, the Stamford Bridge hierarchy believe Scott's profile fits many of the characteristics they are targeting as they continue to reshape their squad around younger and high potential talents. Alex Scott is definitely a player I think is highly rated in the Premier League. From the look of things, if Enzo is leaving, it feels like this is the guy they are earmarking as the replacement. Now on paper, he fits the blueprint. He's a young player, but crucially, he's already Premier League proven. I think he has over 50 games under his belt in the top flight, which counts for something. But let's talk numbers and look at the actual metrics, because this is where the red flags start popping. When you compare the 22 goal and assist Enzo Fernández gave us last season to Scott's actual output on the pitch, it's absolutely night and day. It's completely incomparable. We have talked about Scott before. He's a good player and he can absolutely cover ground in that midfield area. But is he truly Chelsea level? Like, honestly, I don't know. With this ownership group and their current hierarchy on the board, every single signing that isn't established world-class name gives me straight PTSD, to be completely honest. I think he knows the league and he plays for Bournemouth. But credit where is due. Bournemouth has actually assembled one of the best squad and have some of the best players in the Premier League right now. Honestly, I haven't watched Alex Scott extensively week in, week out, but the word on the street is that he's genuinely a good player. Even with that said, I don't think he can replace Enzo Fernández. I don't think he has a specific quality in his locker to fill those boots. I don't know for sure, but let's just wait and see how this plays out. But moving on, it looks like Manchester City can't get enough of our assets. Think about it. First, they took our coach, then they are sniffing around Enzo. Now, out of nowhere, we are hearing noise about Palmer moving back to Etihad. It feels like they are trying to pull a reverse Palmer on us, trying to buy back what they let go. Ben Jacob and Alex Crook broke the news on this reporting. It's understood a report to Manchester City is a possibility for Palmer. However, like with João Pedro, Chelsea have no plans to sell Palmer this summer. Now let's keep it real. Man City is his boyhood club, so you can never completely rule out the emotional pull of going back. There are always chances when a club like that comes calling, but thankfully the board has already stepped in and debunked this one. Chelsea absolutely don't want to sell him, and they are putting their foot down. And from my perspective, Palmer's season has been a mixed bag. He had to deal with some fitness issue, managerial changes, but my stocks are incredibly high on him. I know what he is capable of when he is firing all cylinders, and that is exactly why I believe him missing out on Tommy Tuchel England squad for the upcoming World Cup is actually a massive blessing in disguise. Instead of running his legs in the ground in the intense summer heat, he gets a proper rest. He gets a full uninterrupted preseason under his belt to clear his head and get his body right. Mark my words, if he gets that proper rest and a solid preseason build-up, the Palmer we all know and love will be right back at his devastating best for us next season. Now moving on, if you thought the Palmer and the Enzo rumors are giving you a headache, wait until you hear the absolute circles surrounding João Pedro. The links connecting him to Barcelona right now are getting completely jarring. Honestly, I don't know where to start with this one. First of all, let's look at the reports flying around. The Spanish media is reporting Deco in London to advance the signing of João Pedro. The sporting director has gone with Bojan, João Almara, Barca Scott to closely follow the operation for the Brazilian striker. And right after that, Deco lands back in Spain and tries to completely play down the situation to reporters. Say, we are working, we are going to bring in some players. For now, we can't say anything about João Pedro. We're interested in several players. We haven't spoken to the club yet. They are trying to be sleek, but Fabrizio immediately stepped in to shut down the noise, revealing our direct stance on the matter. Deco returned from England on a mission to discuss several things. At the moment, Chelsea stance remain we want to keep João Pedro. He is an important part of the project. After the season Chelsea had, you can imagine the intention to keep him. And Fabrizio didn't stop there either. He doubled down on the fact that we are building a massive defense wall around our star man. Chelsea have every intention of keeping João Pedro. It's going to be difficult for Barcelona to break this wall for him. And if you think a massive financial offer will tempt the owners, Ben Jacobs has dropped an absolute bombshell of how untouchable the Brazilian really is. Chelsea are not prepared to sell João Pedro. There is no price that will change the club stance this summer, even a world record bid. And Kieran Gill backed this up, confirming the player himself isn't looking for a way out of Stamford Bridge. João Pedro is happy at Chelsea. Chelsea's stance is that João Pedro is not for sale. They are not placing a valuation on him. And to top it off, TalkSport came out and put an actual ridiculous number on the table just to show how serious we are. about keeping him. Not even an offer that would surpass the £190 million Paris Saint-Germain paid Barcelona to sign Neymar in 2017 will change Chelsea's mind to sell João Pedro. This situation is wild. I genuinely don't know where Barcelona expect to find the money to finance a transfer of this scale. Do they understand the concept that this player is simply not for sale? But let's talk reality here. This claim that Chelsea won't sell João Pedro for even a record fee, that is a blatant lie. I'm telling you right now, if any club presents a genuine record fee to the owners, João Pedro is gone. If I'm sitting in that boardroom and a bid higher than the Neymar fee lands on my desk, I'm selling him straight away, no hesitation. You take that astronomical bag of cash, run straight to the market and go sign someone like Victor Osimhen to lead the line instead. But realistically, I don't think Chelsea is actually going to sell him this summer. And honestly, I want him to stay at the club. It was a bright spot for us. I just don't see how Barcelona can even fund a deal like this anyway. Bro, these people are completely broke. This is bankrupt FC we are talking about. They're absolutely running on fumes financially. But moving on, just when you thought the left back situation is locked down, things are shifting rapidly. We have seen him linked heavily with a return to Spain, but the destination keeps changing. Gerard Romero gave us an update on the Barcelona front, stating, honestly, I see it now as pretty cool. At Barcelona, the feeling is that Cucurella is going to Atletico. It seems Catalonia is fading, but Madrid is heating up massively. But Beneficence highlighted why a move right now makes total sense for a market perspective. With 2 years left to run on the Spain international contract, now might be the best time to part ways. Marc Cucurella has more than flirted with the prospect of leaving Stamford Bridge. Atletico Madrid are supposedly interested, and the latest exclusive states that personal terms might not be an issue anymore. According to secret source, Marc Cucurella is nearing an agreement with Atletico Madrid on a contract valid until 2030. No club-to-club talk yet with Chelsea FC, who wants at least €16 million package to let the Spaniard leave. Atletico expected to hold a new contact in coming days. Honestly, I think we have to wait for Xabi Alonso to confirm everything and lay out his blueprint before we jump into conclusions. I think all of us kind of assume Alonso will be going with a back three system. If Alonso goes with a back three, I don't think Cucurella is the kind of player to play as a traditional wing back, bombing up forward and bombing backward all game. He doesn't have that specific attacking engine or output. But if Xabi Alonso plays a back four, he's more suited for that role. And in that scenario, I think I'll keep him. The whole situation is very funny because as a club, we have constantly called out for experience. And I've said it before, letting one of our senior experienced figures go doesn't make total sense to me right now. But at the end of the day, everything depends on what Xabi Alonso wants to do at Chelsea. If he's going to go with a tactical setup that uses back four, I think by all means we should keep Cucurella. And with that said, that's the end of the video, my friends. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. It will be.